so many people's lives, I found myself staring squarely at a fork in the road, a point I now refer to as a day of disgust. That moment of impact we sometimes hit in our lives when we face our circumstances and make a decision to change. In that instant, standing there, sweating in the Florida heat, I came to a moment of decision. I suddenly knew that I'd headed up to here with where I was, what I was, and who I was. Something clicked. The tumblers in the lock fell into place, and I knew that I could never go back to who I'd been only a minute earlier. I knew that for things to change, I had to change. For things to get better, I had to get better. I left the golf course. That following semester, for the first time in my life, I got straight A's. I went on to business school and graduated at the very top of my class. Fresh out of college, I was recruited by Texas Instruments. I worked at TI for 5 years and went to the very top levels of the company. But corporate America wasn't for me. I went back to Albuquerque and started a solar energy company. And at first, it looked like I had indeed made a smart decision. Within 2 years, my company was in the top 20, and eventually, we became the 5th largest solar energy company in America. I was thrilled. I was on top of the world. What I did not yet know was that nothing ever stays the same. Everything is in motion. Everything changes. Times changed, tax laws changed, our industry was hit hard. Before I knew what was happening, I had lost everything, gone back to zero and below, owing more money than I thought I could ever even hope to make again. The lesson. The night my car was towed away, I sat in despair and thought, this just isn't fair. Here I am, after 12 long years of building towards success, at the bottom again. I'm more broke today than when I was Gorgeous George on the beach. 12 years of blood and guts, and I was more of a failure than ever. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I couldn't see the logic, the justice, the reasons for any of it. Was life just inherently unfair? Was that it? Was there simply no rhyme or reason for anything? Was there no point in even trying? That was when I began to examine more carefully what had happened in my life. I'd been a college dropout, a beach bum, and a complete financial failure. Also, I'd been a straight-A student, a top corporate salesperson, a super-achieving entrepreneur in a cutting-edge industry, and a complete financial success. And all of those had been the same person. So what was the difference? It made no sense. Or did it? For the first time, I began to see that over the years of my roller coaster career, I had gone through a rich sequence of experiences that held the secrets to success as well as to failure. I had proven to myself, beyond any shadow of a doubt, the depths of failure that simple daily errors in judgment could produce. I had also seen what simple daily disciplines could accomplish. I just hadn't quite realized what I knew. It was time to pull away the veil of circumstance and look right at the heart of the matter, to go behind the results and examine the actions, and behind the actions to find the attitudes, and behind the attitudes to discover the thinking that held them there. That was when I began to discover and explore the slight edge. Since that time, I have built some extraordinary businesses and earned more money than I ever dreamed of. I've experienced more joy and fulfillment within my family and other relationships than I knew was possible. I've also discovered new vistas in my own investment, in my own development, in terms of both health and learning. Perhaps most important than all of that is that I've built a philosophy that is grounded in reality, in the way things actually work, not on luck and the mystery of the quantum leap, but on the power of the water hyacinth. I could lose it all tomorrow. It's happened before. I'd survive. But there is something I cannot lose. And with that one thing, I could start from scratch with a penny and build it all back up again. That one thing is the slight edge. Where to go from here? Someday when I have the time, I'm going to. Someday when I have the money, I'm going to. Have you ever heard that said? Someday? It's a way we have of reinforcing the illusion that the future is safely far removed, that it doesn't really touch us. It's a lie. Not an intentional, willful deception, but a lie nonetheless. Someday is not a vision of my future. Someday is a fantasy, nothing more. Here's the damage we do with this illusion. We give weight to our someday fantasies. We squeeze some sense of enjoyment from them as if they were real. and thereby give ourselves permission to take no practical action whatsoever while we swim in the comforting sense that those someday scenarios will move closer to the unfolding present on their own. They won't. You've got to go claim them. Ask yourself, what is there in my life that I hold as someday? Do one simple daily discipline in each of these 5 key areas of your life. Your health, your personal development, your relationships, which includes family, your finances, and your life overall, which includes the meaning and purpose of your life, that forwards your success in each of those areas. Make a habit of doing some sort of daily review of these slight edge activities, either through keeping a journal, a list, working with a slight edge buddy, a coach, or some other regular, consistent means. Spend high-quality time with men and women who have achieved goals and dreams similar to yours. In other words, model successful mentors, teachers, gurus, masters, and allies, and do it daily, weekly, and monthly. And you'll find yourself on the success curve, and you will turn your dreams into realities. Successful people put the slight edge to work for them, rather than against them, every day. They refuse to let themselves be swayed by their feelings, moods, or attitudes. They rule their lives by their philosophies, and do what it takes to get the job done, whether they feel like it or not. Successful people don't look for shortcuts, nor do they hope for the big breakthrough. They are always open to quantum leaps, knowing that such opportune moments do present themselves from time to time, but they focus on doing what they've put in front of themselves to do. They step onto the path of mastery, and once having set foot there, they stay on that path throughout their lives. Successful people never blame circumstances or other people. Instead, they take full responsibility for their lives. They use the past as a lesson, but do not dwell in it, and instead let themselves be pulled up and forward by the compelling force of the future. Successful people use inertia to build momentum, making their upward journey of success easier and easier. They know how to identify habits that don't serve them and replace them with those that do. They understand the powers of reflection, completion, and celebration, and they harness them constantly, using their radar for unfinished business to propel them forward rather than being sucked backward and downward. Successful people acquire the 3 kinds of knowledge they need to succeed. They create an ongoing support system of both book smarts and street smarts, learn through study and through doing, and they catalyze and accelerate that knowledge by finding mentors and modeling their successful behavior. They plan, they do, and then they review, again and again and again. Successful people go to work on their philosophy first, because they know it is the source of their attitudes, actions, results, and the quality of their lives. They understand activity, and because they do the thing, they have the power. They understand the power of daily disciplines. They understand the power of the water hyacinth and how to use it. They know when they are being offered the choice of wisdom. Successful people understand the slight edge, and they put it to work for them. So, where do you go from here? Find your penny, then start doubling it. About the author. Jeff Olson describes himself as a perpetual student of personal development, and he is as devoted to health and fitness as he is to personal and financial success. Dividing his time between his homes in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Jeff has spoken to more than 1,000 audiences throughout the United States and around the world. Over the past 20 years, he has helped hundreds of thousands of individuals achieve better levels of financial freedom and personal excellence.
I'm going to talk about basically accountability and how that works. But what a boring, horrible subject. Why I want to talk about that long term and the benefit of that, but you can apply that for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. If you can't be set up an accountability system for 4 or 5 weeks, then you certainly won't set it up for the rest of your life, okay? And here's our observations, all right? You're either growing in the business right now, or you're not growing, or you will grow. You know, because you're kind of in one of those categories. Are you always in one category or the other? No, you're not. Here's my observations. We have observed that the people that are growing listen to CDs and move CDs through the organisation. When you're growing, that's what you're doing. You listen to CDs, and to develop a CD listening habit, well, that'd be a great title for a CD, is a really, really important thing. In fact, when you leave here, unless you've developed a CD listening habit, you will not survive, okay? The CD listening habit is critical, but when you listen to CDs, eating CDs, you duplicate that, and absolute observation, the teams have moved. Now, we don't have to understand this, we don't have to even believe this, I'm just telling you what happens. The organisations that move the most CDs grow the fastest. Work ethic, the leaders that work the hardest show the most plans, develop a team of plan showers, and the work ethic is predictable. That's when people are growing. Functions, the people that are growing attend everything, and they set up a system, they set up accountability in their team, they set up a